Hello everyone, welcome back to the week 2 of learning C with examples. So in this week we will be learning about basic input, so how to take input from the user and also to handle variables. Okay, so let us begin. So the first task in this week is to write a program to calculate the area of a square. Okay, so let us begin. So I will start with an empty file, save it as task 5 and take the template, and as usual I will take the aim. So this I usually follow in all of my programs. Okay, and now as I start my program. Okay, so basically whenever you write a program you should understand what what is the expected output of your program, and for achieving that output what inputs needs to be taken. Okay, now our aim is to calculate the area of a square. Now to calculate the area of a square you foremost need the sides of the square, or basically the side of the square. Okay, so that just tells me that I should have to take the input, the side value of the side from the user. Okay, so that means the first step always in my coding is always to declare the variables. Okay, so as soon as I get the aim, I first decide how many variables I would be needing. Okay, so first of all I have to calculate the area, so I need to store that area somewhere, so I need a variable which will be area. Okay, now the type of the variable will depend on what type of values you are going to handle. Okay, so right now my sides are going to be integer value only. So since the sides are integer, so the formula for area of a square is side into side, that is side square. So integer into integer will always give you integer, so my area can also be integer. Okay, so I would just say integer area. Okay, so that is where I'm going to store my um, area of the square. Now I want to take the input from the user for the side of the square. Okay, so that has to be stored somewhere, so I will take another variable called side, that also is going to be integer. Okay, so now next I would have to take the input from the user. Okay, so I will just do scanf. To take the input you should always remember the command is scanf. Okay, and scanf is almost similar to printf, but the only thing is it is taking input from the user to the system, and printf gives displays certain something from the program to the display screen. Okay, so the scanf command works something like this. Okay, so it should be always it is basically it simply means scan in a formatted way. Okay, so the formatted way we will see in detail a little later, but for the time being uh, inside this scanf there are basically two parts. Okay, so those two parts are separated by comma. Okay, so in the first part, that is this part, it has to be inside the quotes. Okay, and this tells you basically how many variables you want to take input for. Okay, so currently I just need to take the input for side. Okay, so now since I want to take input for side and the type of the variable of side is int, so for that I will use something called as percentage d. Okay, percentage d is for integer, and whenever it's an integer I would use d, and if it is a float I will use percentage f, if it is a character I will use percentage c, and so on. Okay, so the complete list is there on in my lecture ppts. You can refer that in the description. Okay, so that once that part is done, so currently I have only one variable, right? So once that part is done, in the left part, so right part, that is after the comma, you should have the name of the variable where this %d data will be stored. Okay, so right now I am going to store it inside. Okay, now always remember all the variables inside scanf statement should be addressed with the help of ampersand sign. Okay, so basically what the scanf expects is the second parameter to be always the address of the variable. Okay, so we will learn this in much more detail when we reach the chapter of pointers. What is address and what are pointers we will see in the last chapter. Okay, but currently always remember that whenever you want to take input from the user, you have to use scanf, and whenever you use scanf, all the variables inside the scanf should have an ampersand sign in front of it. Only then it will work. Okay, so now if I just run it, okay, before doing anything else, if I just run it right now, it will run, but you can see I can't get any feedback from the program as to what it wants. Okay, so basically it is waiting for the input. If I press something, okay, if I just enter 4 and enter, it works. Okay, but what it was expecting, nobody knows. Okay, so for that it is always advisable to have a printf just before every scanf. Okay, so I will have the printf statement just before it, and I will just write enter. So what is this input for? So I will just write a description over here, enter the side. Okay, and then a colon. Okay, colon or equal to whatever you wish. Okay, so let's say we want equal to. Okay, and remember, don't put \n over here. Okay, you will just see why. Okay, just run this, and now you can see it is actually saying enter the side, and it is right now waiting for the input. If I enter something, it will accept it. Okay, and if I by chance, if I do, let's say by mistake I put a /n over here, it will not create much problem, but you can see right now after the enter side equal to, the cursor is coming down over here because of the /n. So if I do something like this, it looks a bit odd. So that's why I said don't use /n over here. Okay, so once that is done, our first step is done. So in our case, the side is input is taken from the user and stored inside side. So now is the place where we are going to do an arithmetic operation and using some operators to find out the area. So everybody knows the formula for area. So area is basically side into side. Okay, 2 times side, and now this value has to be assigned to the variable area. Okay, so basically what I am doing is, let's say the user enters 5. So basically this particular line number 13 will do is, it will multiply 5 into 5, that means 25. This value 25 will be now assigned to area. Okay, using this assignment operator. So basically a single equal to sign stands for assignment operator. Okay, so whenever you find a single equal to sign, whatever is there on the right hand side will be assigned to the left hand side. Okay, so once that is done, the only job left is to show it to the user, whatever is the area. Okay, so right now if I just run this, you can see if I enter the side as 5, it does calculate the area, but we are not showing it to the user. So for that I should have another printf, and then here I will just write, let's say, area of square is equal to, okay. So till here you have seen how in the last few tasks that whenever we write something inside the quotes, it will be printed as it is onto the screen, right? But right now I want to print the value of the variable area inside this place. Okay, so basically I want to print it over here. So how to do it is simple. You just find out what is the type of the variable. So I know the type is int. Okay, so the type of the variable is int. Whenever the type is int, we use %d. Okay, so what happens now is it starts printing, it prints area of the square equal to, and then reaches %d. As soon as it reaches %d, it will now search for some variable after comma. Okay, so after this quotes are over, it will, as soon as it finds %d or %f or %c, anything, so it will immediately go after the comma and search for a variable, and that value of that variable will be replaced over here. Okay, so I will just write area, and this time remember, in printf we do not put address, and in scanf we put address. Okay, so now if I run it, you can see if I enter the side as 5 and enter, you get the area of the square as 25. Okay, so that is perfect. Now to make it a little more better, I usually prefer in every program to give the user a hint as to what this program is all about. Okay, so basically if I just run it in the current state, what happens is it is just asking enter the side. So how will a user know whether the program is written to find the area of the side, or to find the perimeter of the square, or what this program is actually doing? Nobody knows. Okay, so I usually prefer to write the objective of the program in the first printf statement. Okay, so I will just write area of square. Okay, and then I will just do few slash n's, and this is my final program. You can see now it looks much better. So this now tells you that okay, this program is going to find the area of square. So now I will just enter the area side, and it will gives me my area of the square. Perfect. Okay, so I hope you understood how to use the printf and scanf statements. Okay, so we will move on to the next task. Okay, thank you.